Good day. It is Monday, theoretically the beginning of the week, but for me it's just another day because all my days are with you. All my days are immersed with sharing what's going on with you. All my days are teaching and providing a level of didactics which you do not get to hear normally for reasons that I think are readily apparent. For reasons that are readily apparent. I say a hearty hello and a hi-yo silver to you, dear, dear friends, fellow members of this thing of ours, of our morning confab. Make sure, without a doubt, you know what, you've heard it a million times, you must subscribe to this. You must tell your friends this. You must tell everybody this. You must make sure they are aware of what we do. You must like these videos. You must love these videos. You must care for these videos. You must be forever moved by them. You must forever recognize and acknowledge your level of love and adoration and respect, not just for me, but for the holy word of truth, as a great prophet Omega once intoned. We have a lot to talk about. And what I want to do today is to remind you also that since we last spoke, and you have been with me since the beginning, in 16? I don't even remember. I don't even know when we started this thing of ours. I don't even remember. It seems like we've just been doing this forever, and I've been on the road and taking you elsewhere. But we are now proud to say that we are, again, monetized and able to accept with great dignity and humility and respect your contributions, your super chats, and all of the accoutrements that accompany the faith that you and the powers that be have placed in us. So we thank you for that. Your contributions, your love, your help means so much to us. And it sends a message to the rest of the world, and I can't say this enough. This is not the future. This is current. This is what's going on right now. As various iterations of news platforms like CNN and others try to figure out just what it is exactly they're supposed to do, we are here. We are here. This is the future. This is it. I heard a young man the other day. We have a friend of the family whose young son is doing some video pieces for his channel. They are so good. He does not know this. He's channeling Carlin, Bill Cosby in terms of the subject matter. He's doing observations. We need to figure a way to pull people in and to say, you have a talent for this. And I can't say this enough. You have a talent for this. You are showing something. And let me go through and show you a little bit about the history of observational type of, and he doesn't even realize it. He doesn't know Mark Twain, Carlin to an extent. He doesn't understand Ernie Kovacs. He doesn't understand Kubrick. He doesn't understand who these people are. We need to have a chance to take young people and nurture their talent, to tell them, basically, don't tell them what to do, but push this. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Stanton joins us right now. Congratulations on getting remonetized. Yes, thank you, Patrick. You're a fine man. And also, remember, as an added bonus, pardon my disgusting, you always get the manualist, the crepitation, the manual crepitation to you from me. And this is so that you know this is our way of saying thank you. Why is a clap special? I don't know. Remember the old joke? If you had one hand, how would you clap? Like this? I don't know. But this, if I had a room, I would want you to show adoration, approbation, and adulation via manualism, this incredible art, where we can, anyway, thank you for that. But I want people to understand the gravamen of this. The gravamen is the essence of the argument. And we need to tell people, we need to say, that's great what you're doing. Keep doing it. Make this observation here. Watch this. People have been doing this from the beginning of time. And this, I'm dead serious. There is nothing more, and I'm going to say this and I got to go on because we're going to talk about Hunter Biden and Pomerantz and Bragg and Jim Jordan and what you have to know about that so that you can be smart and equipped with really solid information. But I got to tell you something. Whenever you do sports programming, whenever you do it, you have to understand sports. I know that may sound like no kidding, but you have to understand sports. You have to understand the essence of what this means. You have to grasp the notion of what it means. So when you are a news director or program director for a sports station, you have to be able to tell your people on the air, I'm going to defer to your knowledge on sports. I'm going to defer to it. I'm not going to tell you, talk about this, because I don't know it like you do. You live and breathe this. I'm not going to read a headline and say, hey, how come you're not talking about this Michael K. and the long hair bat boy? Because that was 2 weeks ago. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I just want you to know that I'm paying attention. And more importantly, I want you to know that I'm in charge. Oh, my God. I'm dead serious about this. We need to be able to we got to have like a class, an online class to take people and nurture them. And here's just push them to take young people in particular because they not only are the future, but this is what's going on and say, you keep doing this. And number one rule, what would be the rule we would tell them? It's the rule that we follow. Never back down. Never let somebody tell you what to think. There are certain rules and certain decorum and yeah. But when it comes to you understanding specifically what it is, don't worry about it. Number two, don't worry about a label. Don't worry about, is this conservative enough? Is this liberal enough? No. Is it true? Is it happening? That's all it is. Is it happening? Is it real? That's it. It's it. Do you want to know what's really going on? Or do you want me to frame it in such a way that always it makes you happy? Let me give you something which is very, very important. Very, very important. Roger Ailes from Fox News one time referred in essence to this notion of narrowcasting. And I understand it to an extent, and there's a balance. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're going to be hearing me do this. And no, I'm not making reference to some juggling, but I'm talking about balance. And there is something true with what they're saying, something true, something not, something whatever it is. But there's a degree of balance to what's happening here. And let me go back a little bit because just hear me out. You have to know what you're going to hear. Using radio stations as an analogy. We have country, we've got hip hop, urban. We used to have AOR, AC, CHR, contemporary hit radio. There were different ways, country, new country, classic rock, whatever. You had to know stationality. It had to have a name, it had to have an identity in terms of the music so that you're not confused. The greatest station I ever heard is what we had at WQSR, when we had it, and you hear sometimes college radio stations. I was listening one day to either Columbia University or something, and there was this person on this very meek, very soft-sounded person on the soft-sounded in any event on the weekend, and I looked and I got the studio line and I called up and I said, let me tell you something. I've been doing this a long time, and you've got more actual talent than anybody I've ever heard because you love the music and it comes through. And I was just like that. And you could have heard the excitement. Really? Really? That's what we need. I'm not giving up on radio yet. I'm not giving up on new people. Have you seen the great music. Little kids, have you seen this? I think she's Japanese. This little 8-year-old kid playing drums, and Robert Plant is watching her and thinking, oh my God. Remember when we used to think that girls can't play guitar? Pfft, get out of here. Are you kidding me? The bass players, oh my God, it's a keep going. Don't stop this. And I want to have also a universe where we have kids talk about, what did you want to hear what a kid has to say? You're 8 years old. You're 9 years old. Tell me what you feel. Tell me what your concerns are. Here's a radio show. This is the 8-year-old hour. You remember this civilization too. We were 8. We're just separated by age. We're the same form. We're just different levels of development or not. And by the way, you have a certain beauty being young where you have this sense of love and hope and keep doing it. What about older people? Older people. Heard a woman last night. It was what was her name? Leanne what? Morgan or no? Leanne Morgan. She was a comedian. Reminded me of what Roseanne used to be. It's very interesting. Got kind of old. You know, the whole thing about I'm old. I'm an older woman. I've got kids. My husband won't talk to me. Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. But anyway, it was refreshing. It was something different. All right, enough of that. Keep the truth. Tell me the truth. Don't give me this narrowcasting. Don't give me this Roger Ailes world of whatever it is. Give me the truth. Just tell me. That's all I want to tell you. If I tell you something that you like, great. It may be beneficial to Trump. It may be beneficial to Joe Biden. It may be detrimental. It may be negative. It's the truth. The truth dictates it. Not what you want the truth to be. You know, life isn't I've got good news and bad news. It doesn't work like that. When that pathologist comes into the hospital room, he doesn't sit there and say, now, what would you like me to say? The truth. You sure about this? Yes. Why do you want to know the truth? Because it's about me. Because it's about me. And I want to know the truth. I can take it. Okay. All right. Well, here's the truth. Now, let's start off with this. Number 1. What is happening regarding Hunter Biden? What is happening regarding Hunter Biden? This is critical. Number 1, let me say this unequivocally. I have no enmity, no hatred. I don't hate people. This may surprise you. This may really, really surprise you. In my world, the ultimate insult is indifference. In my world, indifference is the worst. When I don't care, when I have no opinion about you, it doesn't get worse than that. You're not here, whether you're here or not here. I don't care. I don't care. You're not here. You don't mean anything to me. Not good, not bad. I don't wish you harm, but I don't wish you will. You're not here. And it's this thing. My father did this. And when you do that, that's it. It's not a grudge. I don't like grudges. I don't like people who carry this. No, you don't understand. I don't see you. This is another thing, too, which is interesting. Sometimes people will say, you were very rude. No, I wasn't. Well, you didn't say anything. To whom? To Jerry. Was Jerry there? Yeah. I don't see Jerry. I don't recognize Jerry. He's not in my world. I'm not being rude. Rude is if I go and say something to him. If I say something, cause a scene. But because I don't say anything, doesn't mean anything. I don't see him. They don't exist. So Hunter Biden, to me, is a very, very ill person. And I don't know about you, but every family has had sort of a Hunter Biden. But his is a little different. And his is a little different because the allegations have been made that he has aided and abetted, counseled, procured, or hired. He has acted as an accessory, the bag man. They have used him. They have used him as the go-between. And let me tell you something, and you listen to me. Remember, I'm telling you this, and I know human behavior. When people find themselves in positions of power, they feel invisible. They feel that they can do anything. I have heard more, you have no idea how the Watergate incident. Do you? Who here remembers that? What was it? What year was it? That summer. Who remembers? Huh? 74, I think. When was the... I remember in my room, yep, Watergate hearings was 73. From May until November. Why? 6 months. By the way, you know how I do that? And I'm sure you do that too. May to November. May is 5. November is 11. 5 and 11. 6 months. Boom. That's it. I don't sit there and go May, June, July. May is 5. July is 7. I get 2 numbers. This is not genius by any stretch of the imagination. But I do not understand why people say May, June. Okay. May. Now, I remember that year, that summer, I was transfixed. I was in my room, and I had this TV that was so big, it almost tipped off of the not the counter, the drawers, the chest o' drawers. It was on top of it, but the tube was like this, and you turned it like that, and it had rabbit ears, or elephant ears, which are great at state fairs. And I was watching this. I was 15 years old. I was transfixed. Nobody told me to watch that. 15 years old. During the summer, we were different then. Do you remember this? You were 12 while you were a baby. Robbed the cradle over here. But it's true. When I remember in grade school, I had a silver ID bracelet. It was a POW bracelet. And I was worried, the nuns might not. Oh, they loved it. Good for you. And I had the man's name, and then it broke because it was cheap plastic. I had to tape it. Couldn't get a replacement, but I wore it. And he wrote me a letter. He was a Air Force, was it a bomber pilot? Anyway, he wrote me a letter. I'm back, thank you. That was, 12? 11? Younger? It was a different world then. It was a different world. And I couldn't believe it was happening. This is the president. And to this day, I ask the question, why? Why? Why did you do this? Why? I heard this. It's my why. There was an SNL skit years ago. It was called "What Were You Thinking?" And it was Phil Hartman who said, Shelley Long, right? Wasn't she on Cheers? Shelley Long, you were on one of the hottest TV shows ever. You were making X amount of money, and you left. And you were a part of such big blockbuster movies as Joe versus a Volcano, or whatever it was. Shelley Long, what were you thinking I'm going to add David Caruso to that. David Caruso, I'm leaving. McLean Stevenson, I'm leaving. Richard Castellano, who was Clemenza. Godfather 2. He gave him a... What are you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, Kathy Borski says, I'm just jumping in, so I apologize. This is off topic. But I remembered you said you would fast on Mondays for your health. Do you still do that? I'm going to answer Kathy. Kathy, I got one better for that. Ready for this? Ready for this? I fast. I don't know if this is fasting. 18 hours a day. I have two huge mules. I have two mules. Used to call them burros or an ass, jackass. I eat once in the morning, early, and then kind of later on, and then I'm done. But I will then not eat for 18 hours until the next day. And I'm not hungry. I mean, I'm hungry later on at night. So yes, that is. Also, apoptosis is important. It is... Let me just stop for a minute, because you asked a question, and I thank you for that. And thank you for your kindness and your courtesy and your generosity. Absolutely. Michael Greger, nutritionfacts.org. There's a whole thing on fasting. People call fasting. Fasting has been a part of it forever. What does an animal do when it is sick? What does an animal do? It doesn't eat. Eating is eat, get energy, survive, and that's it. You don't need that much. Let me just stop for a second because you bring up a good point. I used to live a life where I would say, and we have friends like this, it's 6 o'clock. You want to eat? No, it's 6 o'clock. I haven't eaten since, are you hungry? Yeah, of course. I haven't eaten since noon. I said, what are you looking at, the clock? I used to think to myself, you can't go to bed hungry. Oh, yes, you can. No, you can't. No, you can't. So anyway, one of the things that changed my life, and let me tell you something right now, diet. You can do all the exercise you want. You can do all the lifting weights you want, which is very important, very good, especially when you get older for the core and all that stuff. Diet. And you eat too much, and you eat too often, and you eat too much. You eat too much. One more thing, and then we'll get back to this, because you bring up a good point, Kathy. I swear to God, the way you eat, and the way you were raised, and the way you were born, and what food means to you is the most incredible thing in the world. Oh, it's Sunday. We're going to have a big meal. Oh, God, this is a kiss of death. Why are you doing that? Oh, I don't know. We're going to have a big meal. You do great. You're trying to lose weight, and all of a sudden you have one day, just one day, and you're back to where you were. And you got to start all, and your body, and I swear to God, this is the last thing I'm going to say. Your body does like this. Hey, is he losing weight? What? How come he's not eating? What's going on here? This guy doesn't eat. Slow down. Metabolism, slow down. We're not going to make it. So all of a sudden your metabolism. So anything you eat, it's just like, it's like, there we go. That's more like it. Yes. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you for that. I'll do a whole thing on eating. When I was a kid, eating was this mastery. This thing about, because nobody tells you, oh my God. One more thing, I swear to God, I'm going to stop. I swear to you, right? When I was a kid, I remember going to get my school clothes. You know, we were in a Catholic school, and we had a uniform. I went to this place called Wilderman. They pronounced it Walderman's, but it was downtown Tampa. I got 36 Husky. 36! I was a kid. I was taller than the rest. They thought this guy's going to be. I was taller than most people in the mile. They thought this guy's huge. I was huge. 36 with an H next to it. It wasn't that the ignominy enough. I'm what? I'm 9 years old. I'm 36. You don't have to rub it in with a husky. We know. 36 with like a 12-inch inseam? What are you talking about? I look like like a circus act. But I remember that because what's going on here? One time the doctor, did I ever tell you this? Doctor gave me speed. I forgot about this. We took me off that right away. Here, try this. I'm like this. I go, what is this all about? Did nothing for the weight, but I was handicapping horses constantly. I had no idea what I was doing. All right, enough of that. Back to what we're doing, and thank you. Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is ill. Hunter Biden is the fall guy. Hunter Biden, and this is the way they're going to, in my opinion, this is the way they're going to play him up. He's going to be looking at maybe 2, 3, well, actually 4 separate charges, but 2 cases of misdemeanor fraudulent filing taxes, 1 tax evasion felony, and 1 gun charge. Okay? Why? Because they haven't stopped. And the reason why they haven't done it is why I went and brought up Watergate initially, was that you wonder, why are you doing this? How much is enough? Why are you doing it this way? He's got a problem. This is your front man? And he's going to, I promise you, and I would do it if I represented him, when it comes time to sentencing, whatever it is, he is going to be, they're going to use his drug problem, his psychiatric maladjustment as a mitigating factor. You can guarantee, to quote Justin Wilson, absolutely. But here's the issue. Now remember, they've been adamant, and finally they're going to say, something's got to give. Merrick Garland, DOJ, FBI, something's got to give. Do you know, who remembers when Hunter was doing the painting? Remember the painting? Hey, I'm a painter. Look at me, I'm Picasso. Hey, there you go. How much is that? $75,000, whatever. Who's buying these? I don't know. Little timeout. A friend of mine reminds me of this. Did you know years ago, before payola, before this thing called payola, there was before Murray the K and Alan Freed, and because it was nothing about, hey, would you play this song? Yes, okay. What's wrong with that? Well, problems. So what some people used to do was they would set up and a friend of mine reminds me of this, and it makes complete sense. Let's say you're a disc jockey. Your wife opened up an art shop, gift shop, art shop, paint shop, whatever it was. And all of a sudden, some A&R guy from Arista or Columbia, or remember Colgems, remember how you used to look at a 45 and you could tell Roulette, Tommy James and the Shondells, London, you could just see ABC Dunhill. I could just hold this 45 across a room and you could see the color pattern. I could tell the make of a car by the rear view mirror, the rear lights at night. Just the way the lights look. Things were. So what you would do is you would say, "Hi, Mrs. So-and-so? Yeah. Hi, I'm here. I'd like to buy this painting. How much is this? Who are you with? I'm with CBS Records. I use this hypothetically. Oh, that's $25,000. Thank you. I'll take it. Now all of a sudden you say, did you pay? I never received a dime. You're on the air? Absolutely. Did they ever pay you? Absolutely not. But my wife sold this for $10,000. What is it? I don't know what it is. But some guy with a tie came in and bought it. Okay. Now you don't have to be Columbo. You don't have to be Woodward and Bernstein, whatever that means, to figure out what happened here. Is anybody going to go after that? No. Here's what's the most important. Listen to me very carefully. And this is the question that you should be asking. So listen, 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 listen. Why aren't they charging or bringing up FARA? That's right, Farrah Fawcett. Now, FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act. There was a time when everybody was getting hit with FARA. Oh, you're with this radio station. You're with this. Oh, you're a foreign agent. Remember, they got Billy Carter years ago. They tried to. Something with Libya. Remember that? They asked Billy Carter, greatest quote ever. They said, Billy, are you the crazy one? He says, am I crazy? He says, well, I got a mother who's 85 years old and rides a motorcycle. I got another sister. Remember June Carter Stapleton? I got another sister who's an evangelical preacher. Another brother who thinks he's going to be the president of the United States. And I'm crazy? Well, anyway, he was something with Libya, and then you can't do this. Why don't they? Let me ask you a question. Why haven't they brought up FARA with Hunter Biden? Why? Question number one. Why? Foreign agent. Foreign agent, where's that money going? It changes the complexion of everything. That's what people want to know. That's the issue. Now, next question. Can you force the Department of Justice to bring something? No. You can't make them charge somebody with something. You can't do it. I will say something, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. If there's one thing that Ron DeSantis did that nobody did, that to me is the most, I don't know what the word is, the most, the boldest, bravest, gutsiest thing I've ever seen is he had a prosecutor this is Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, had a prosecutor in Hillsborough County for the 13th Judicial Circuit, of which I am an alum. His name was Andrew Warren, or is Andrew Warren. And during the course of this, he said, either he signed something or made a public declaration that he wasn't going to charge certain things or find people guilty of, or whatever it was. And Ron DeSantis says, are you telling me that you are agreeing not to prosecute certain things, certain charges, you're not going to do this? No. Okay. Well, in that case, you're suspended. And he removed a prosecutor. People want Kathy Hochul in the state of New York to remove Eric Adams. That's not going to happen. Because you cannot force somebody to bring a charge. You can't force them. You might be able to remove people. Speaking of Watergate, remember the old Saturday Night Special, Saturday Night Massacre, I should say, and the Archibald Cox and whatever. Okay. So that's going to be the issue. So eventually they're not meeting, DOJ's meeting with the Hunter's lawyers, and out of everything that was said and done, we're looking at maybe 2 misdemeanor tax charges, 1 evasion felony, and maybe a gun, something with the gun, whatever. And that's it. It is believed. Don't know yet, but that's what is being suspected. Now, here is the biggest question. Are you following with this? Here is the biggest question. What is happening here in New York regarding Alvin Bragg, Mark Pomerantz, Donald Trump, the Constitution, Jim Jordan, what is going on here? What? Explain this. This is the issue. What is going on here? This is the story of stories. This is so interesting. This is going to determine the future, the legacy, the radioactivity of Mr. Alvin Bragg, who was the district attorney for Manhattan. Notice how young people in particular cannot say Manhattan. This is Mrs. Martin. Who? Martin. Is that an apostrophe? Martin? It's just gone. All right. Here is the story. Now follow this one. Donald Trump, you, me, everyone. We are presumed innocent. Why? We haven't been convicted of anything. If you're arrested, you're presumed innocent. You're presumed innocent. You don't have to prove anything. You are presumed innocent. When you go to a courtroom, you're presumed innocent until somebody finds you guilty. You're in the same status as anybody else. Mark Pomerantz was this is the thing that just gets me. He was the prosecutor who wrote this book, who resigned, who told Alvin Bragg, how dare you? You're not bringing charges against Donald Trump. You're not bringing charges against him. You're not bringing. What are you doing? Now, he's going to be testifying before the GOP-led House Judiciary Committee. Do you? And by the way, Bragg just basically gave up, threw in the towel, because they told him, you have no say here. The federal government wanted to investigate why is Mr. Bragg, Alvin Bragg, doing this. And I think, now this is where you and I may disagree, I don't like this because they're claiming this is completely political. Well, what do you think your investigation is? Well, your investigation is political. This is political. What are you talking about? This is political. What you're doing now? You're going after Alvin Bragg for only one case, Trump. You don't think that's political? Come on. Now, you have jurisdiction to do this. There's no doubt about that. It's not illegal what you're doing, but it's political. So don't tell me that, no, we're merely going over this. We have jurisdiction because of the fact that Alvin Bragg has, what am I trying to say? Alvin Bragg has, he is utilizing federal funds and, yeah, okay. All right. You want to believe that? Go ahead. They're right. It's not illegal. They're within their jurisdiction, but come on. Okay. And as far as Alvin Bragg charging Trump with this falsified business, come on. This is so on both occasions. Come on, please, for the love. What is going on here? Please. Seriously. Please. All right, that aside. Here is the question that I have, which I want you to be aware of, and you bring up your friends. Do you know what it was like, how unfair it is for Donald Trump, private citizen, to have a prosecutor publicly say, you never charged him with something. I'm quitting, and I'm blaming this prosecutor for not being tough enough and not charging Donald Trump with such and such. Wait a minute. He's a private citizen. Yeah, but still. No, wait a minute. You're going through this. You're making this case for Donald Trump. He hasn't been charged with anything. How are you doing this, both as a lawyer, officer of the court, and a former prosecutor? Ladies and gentlemen, chaotic anarchy, sip of tea for the Manic Monday working man. Thank you so much. Manic Monday, by the way, please. Hang on. Pardon me. There we go. Thank you so much. Crepitations, manualist, crepitations for you. Manic Monday, written by Prince for the Bangles. Thank you, chaotic. So how are they doing this? How are they doing this? Simple. So Jim Jordan's going to bring this guy in and say, what are you doing? Now let me tell you where else I saw this, and you're not going to believe this. To show you how even-handed I am, to show you how fair I am. You know what they did? Remember when James Comey said what Hillary Clinton was, what she did that was illegal, but we're not going to charge her? Remember that? Excuse me. The Department of Justice, the FBI, either files or doesn't file. And when you file charges, you tell the world, and that's it. They did that to Hillary Clinton, and it was wrong. And people I knew said, who cares? It's Hillary Clinton. Who cares? She's entitled to a presumption of innocence too. You just told the world what she did. You're the head of the FBI, and you're telling the world what she did, but you're not charging her with anything? No. No, we don't do that in this country. Nope. Sorry. I don't care who you are. Hunter Biden, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, you don't do that. You charge him or you don't charge him. That's it. And if you don't charge him, that's it. Because the fact that you didn't charge means this is your absolute sense of discretion. But Pomerantz, who left, who then, in essence, forced, maybe, accelerated, Alvin Bragg said, okay, I'm going to bring these charges. Now, how far do they stand? How far do they go? I couldn't tell you. People are saying, and they're still saying, that Donald Trump will not, this is garbage. They're going to be thrown out. If you're a betting man or a woman, bet on him being convicted, bet on no charges being dismissed, because somebody will say, okay, maybe this is, okay, but it's not per se illegal. Can he take a federal charge and use a federal violation of the law as a means of upping or accelerating or converting this shaky New York State misdemeanor where the statute of limitation has already expired? Can you take a federal law and use that to supercharge, to provide this nexus ability? Technically speaking, yeah. Sure you can do that. Is it fair? You tell me what fair is. I don't even know what fair is. You don't think, as far as the statute of limitations goes, something tells me, I think, that Alvin Bragg says, we got this covered. We're not going to throw this case out there and then say, I hope he doesn't realize this case lapsed 3 years ago. I hope he... No, they've thought about this. And do you think a Manhattan jury is going to find him guilty? Now, let me stop for a second. I believe more in juries than most people do. I really do. I really do. Over the course of time, they're very, very good at what's going on. Very good. Very good. Now, that notwithstanding, this is where this issue is. This is what's happening now. Now, let me bring you up to speed. And if I sat down and you're Trump, I'm going to tell you, you've got a long way to go. In a short time to get there, it's eastbound. Just watch old bandit run. Eastbound and down, loaded up in trucking. Everybody, ladies only, left side of the room only. All right. First, there's this case. Next, you've got this Letitia Baldwin. I keep saying Letitia Baldwin. Letitia James. Do you know that the other day, Trump was there for what was he, 7 hours, 5 hours? Normally you go into a court and they say, President Trump, Mr. Trump, are you going to be taking the fit to all questions? Yes, I am. Okay, would you make a note of that? Yes, every question. And by the way, why do you have to take a Fifth Amendment to all kinds of questions? Why? Everything. Have you ever seen the old mob? You see like Joey Gallo or I respectfully decline to answer under my 5th, 14th, 3rd, 12th, whatever. Does he have to keep reading that? Yes. Every single. What's your name? I respectfully decline. The reason for that is sometimes people ask a question, did you waive your right to a Fifth Amendment by answering a question? Is it background only if somebody says, I decline, but I wasn't there? You waived it. Why? You just answered a question. Yeah, but that was back. It doesn't matter. So in order to be both a pain in the neck and also to perhaps preserve any chance of you waiving your Fifth Amendment right, you have to be careful not to answer the question. So that's why they're rather, dare I say, punctilious with the idea of this thing. Okay. So what happens is a lot of times people will say, look, you're going to answer the question. Here are the questions. We're going to stop this. We're not going to waste your time. If you're telling me right now with your council president, you can sign this, that you're not going to answer any questions, we'll just stop this. Fine. It has been reported that Letitia James says, no, I want him to take the fifth 300 times, 400 times, 100 times, whatever it is. Each question individually. So that I can say he took the fifth. Now, why do you take the Fifth Amendment? Are you trying to hide something? Yes. 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 Can you take the Fifth Amendment for a really simple question, let's say, because remember, in the grand jury, or most cases, there's three things you can be. You can be the target. This is grand jury talk. The target of the grand jury. We're coming after you. Okay. Number two, you could be the subject. We don't know if it's you, but we're talking about you. You're doing some stuff. We don't know what it was, but. And the third is you could be a witness. And the witness is just, you saw a bank robbery. And the federal, you have to indict with the grand jury. So you're subpoenaed to the grand jury. You show up and you state your name. And I saw this. Okay, thank you. You're a witness. That's it. Now, normally, the reason why it's interesting, if you say, I take the Fifth Amendment, I'm not going to answer. Okay. Prosecutor then says, we're going to grant you immunity. What? I'm granting you immunity. It's called use immunity. We're not going to use anything you say against you. They used to have something called transactional immunity, which you could still apply, which means we cannot charge you at all with this offense or this instance, this case, this matter. But we can. Use immunity says, we can charge you later on so long as we don't use this. This is what happened to Oliver North. They had to prove that when they were going to prosecute him, did they use the testimony that he gave under immunity? All right, make a long story short. So what happens is, you come in there and you say, I'm not going to answer, I take the fifth. We're granting you immunity. I'm still not going to answer. Judge comes in and says, you answer the question or I hold you in contempt. For the course of the grand jury, which could be 18 months, and if it's extended. So you're going to have to answer. If they want you, they're not going to grant you immunity. So they're going to say, fine, have a nice day. We'll get it some other way. That's what this is about. So when Trump says, now here's the issue. The Fifth Amendment is a constitutional right against self-incrimination. Let me explain this to you. This is a constitutional right that you have against self-incrimination. It is a constitutional right you have against being forced to incriminate yourself, to answer questions about an event, about something that happened. Do you understand? Yes. It's a constitutional right, like the First Amendment. Did you take the First Amendment? Yes. Why did you say that? Because I have a First Amendment. Oh, hiding behind the First Amendment, are you? Hiding behind it? No, it's a right. Aha. And who takes the Fifth Amendment? People who are guilty? No. I don't know what you're going to charge, if anything. I don't believe I did anything. I don't know one way or the other. But I'm not going to help you. If you want to charge me, figure it out yourself. That's all the Fifth Amendment is. That's it. It's the beginning. It's the end of it. It's the end of it. There's nothing to it. But it's there's this negative aspect to it. It sounds dirty, and it sounds where, guilty people hide behind it. No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, it's true. Some do. Now, so let's go back. Number one, we've got this case in New York. Number two, Letitia James. It's a civil case where she is alleging that Trump and his organization and his family overvaluated, overpledged, overassessed the worth of property and the like to secure loans or whatever it is. Everybody will tell you that whatever you say in terms of what you're pledging is going to be verified independently by a bank or the lending institution. So, I mean, granted, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this, but from a functional point of view, it's not like, well, we got to give him a loan. Well, he said the Trump Tower is worth $8 trillion. No, it's not. Well, yes, it is. No, it's not. Well, we got to take his word for it. Okay, well, it doesn't work like that. So that's the second thing, all right? That's number two. Number three, you've got Mr. Jack Smith. Two cases, Mar-a-Lago and the documents, and perhaps January 6th. That's not done. Where is John Durham? Remember John Durham? He looked like the Civil War reenactor. Remember that? He was a U.S. attorney from Connecticut. John Durham. People said, Durham's here. He's going to be I don't even know what he was. He's just, Durham's here. Who is he? Don't know who he is, but here he is. John Durham. Be careful. Durham's here. What? Durham's here. He's here? Yes. What happened to him? I don't know. I don't know. So, Jack Smith, those two cases. So there's four. Number five, you've got Fulton County, Georgia. You got that case. That's not over with. And number six, the case everybody's laughing at, is the E. Jean Carroll case. This is the sexual battery, sexual assault case. And Trump has been indicated that he might not be testifying. He might not even be there. He can waive his appearance as a defendant. Oh, is that good or bad? I don't know. But why is that bad? First of all, you're going to get her on the stand. Number two, you're going to hear the Access Hollywood, this locker room kind of talk. And what scares me the most is you're going to have two witnesses, two women who have similar fact evidence who are going to say, yep, that happened to me too. And that's going to get out. So politically, now remember, that is a civil case. So the criminal cases are Manhattan, the Jack Smith case, the two cases. And by the way, seditious conspiracy is the worst. This thing is, if you read this one, read that statute. Interfering with, interrupting, preventing the legal execution of something. Perhaps conspiring to interfere with the certification of the votes. And you can laugh all you want. You go, oh, that's ridiculous. I got a friend of mine who thinks that he can just laugh. Oh, that's ridiculous. Well, why don't you go there and you go to the Department of Justice? Excuse me. Yeah, you don't know me, but it's ridiculous. What are you talking about? Really? Really? Okay. That's what bothers me. Now, the next question is this. Let me ask you a very simple question. Will Ron DeSantis be the Republican nominee in 2024? Will Ron DeSantis, Governor Ron DeSantis, will he be the 2020 nominee? Ron DeSantis is, I think he's 42. I think he is, 44. 44 years old. A child. A mere child. Will Ron DeSantis be? A lot of people like him. Or do they? Where is this going, pray tell? Where is it? Do you think he's going to be there? A lot of people like him very, very much. He's it. Where do you think the Karl Rove, I believe, is in his favor? The Bushes and others? Now, do you think? The next one is that President Trump will be for his third election. Will he be the nominee in 2024? Will former President Donald Trump be the nominee, the Republican nominee, in 2024? Do you believe that? Yes or no? Is the Republican Party, are they going to say, yes, we're going to do that? Or do they have any choice? Or are they forced? They're going to say, well, whatever it is. If he gets there, we have a nominee. They don't really have these conventions anymore where they're out there and they're fighting. Mr. Speaker, the great state of Vermont that brought you, whatever the heck we vote, 446 votes for. We don't really do that anymore. It's almost presumed. The next question is, do you believe that the United States of America is ready for another round 2 of Trump, either as a candidate or as a president? That's the issue. Is there Trump fatigue? Are people saying, enough with this? What are you talking about? Please, we can't handle this. Oh, for the love of God, no. Trump, oh my God. No, dear God, no. Not what you think. Do you think the country says that? The next question is, do you believe that Joe Biden will be the nominee? He says, I'm ready to announce. Didn't he say that? He was going to announce, I believe. Tomorrow. What? By video. He's going to announce. I'm in. Do you think Joe Biden, Robinette Biden, will Joe Biden be the 2024 nominee? Yes or no? Do you believe that Gavin Newsom will be, I will put my money on that for various reasons. I think be Gavin Newsom and be a most formidable opponent. Do you think? Do you believe there's another person out there? Somebody else. We haven't heard of it. Somebody waiting back. Nikki Haley. Oh, she's announced already. But somebody who is ready to come forward. Somebody who is able to galvanize. Do you think that there is a Republican able to say, here are the 3 issues that will not only pull in the usual Republican group, poach a few Democrats, but bring in the independent, the undecided, the swing voter, the maybe voter? Do you think that? These are critical issues. These are critical issues. And it fascinates me. And at this particular time, it is too early. But here's something I want to look at this. And I love this. I'm typing in days until 2024 election. The number of days. Ready for this? The 2024 deadline is 561 days. 561 days. You got that? 561 days. That is a heartbeat. That is an eye blink. That is an eye blink. It's right there. The issues. And I haven't even gotten to you. I haven't even gone into what we're going to be seeing and what artificial intelligence and what AI and AGI are going to play in this. You have no idea. This is going to be one for the ages. This is going to be one for the ages. Start spreading the news. Hey, it's a song. Start paying attention as to how various issues and various things are kind of slowing down, how people are focusing on what they're going to have to talk about. Because remember, for primaries, you tack left or you tack right. For the primaries, you're going to have to go out there and you're going to be, and if you're Nikki Haley, for example, you're going to go out there and you're going to say, not only do we live and Americans and Joe Biden, but you're going to have to slam, in essence, whom you consider to be the front runner. So you're going to have to go out and slam Trump or DeSantis, depending on how you look at it, and that will cause dissent within the group. Same thing with the left, but Democrats don't do that. They don't talk bad about each other. Republicans do. Then once that's decided, then for the general, you tack towards the middle. And you try to find issues that everybody agrees with and everybody finds palatable and possible. That's where we are with that. That's where that works. So be on your toes. Follow me here. Do I have everyone's word that you have subscribed to this channel? You must subscribe. You must like all of this. Not part of it, all of this. And you must always be notified to activate the particular notification bells so that you are notified of this as it occurs. Am I making sense to you? I hope so. Because it's critical. It's beyond critical. I also want you to promise me that you will follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. You understand me? Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Phenomenally critical, absolutely critical for you to follow this. I'm not just saying that. It's true. So we will see what's happened. I hope you were educated today. I hope I gave you a perspective. I hope I'm giving you not both sides, but all sides. I'm not here to deliberately give you both sides because sometimes there really isn't another side. There's just, but if you don't understand what the oppositions, and sometimes it's more than just two issues, it might have three or four, then you're not going to be able to figure out precisely what you think. You're not going to be able to figure out where you're going if you only hear just one. And you know what those are. We have a lot to talk about. We didn't talk anything about the Sudan today, which I don't think anybody really understands. I was listening to somebody trying to articulate even the names involved in the Sudan, and it was all for naught. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of a grateful nation, I thank you for your participation today. Thank you for following us. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your courtesy. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your mind and your focus. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for caring about this, for you to care, for you to say, I'm going to be a part of this particular conversation. And for those who are listening later on, we thank you as well. Because some people may not be able to handle it right now, but later on they'll be able to listen. Because this is, right now, beyond critical. And I can't say it again. You have to understand the issues as they occur. Okay? You have to understand. All right, my friends, until tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. I thank you again. We'll see you at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.